I would like to share an animal totem card. I did an animal totem reading for myself personally, but just the two animal decks that I have. I don't think I pulled another, maybe one of the Buddha cards, but yeah. But so the one that I got from this deck, um, this one here, the one that flipped out, okay, and I shuffled both ways, like, you know, like I always do. And as I was doing my, you know, channeled messages coming in as I'm shuffling, a couple different ones showed themselves. Crow, of course, usually does. But red kangaroo flipped out. And interesting, when I was flipping open to the book, because I'm going through the books, reading, especially the animal decks I want to get really familiar with, and then, you know, then you can research it further if you want and just see what other elements resonate with you, or, you know, different elements can resonate with you at different times. So, and there's a lot of really good sites for that. I'll find a couple of my favorites if I'm so inclined, if I remember, and I'll put them in the description box. So, so when I grab the book, okay, so I'm flipping through to open to the red kangaroo card. And I turn open to, was it Wallaby? I thought it was it because I was like, oh, but I was like, oh wait, there's another one. So I'm like, wow, they have Wallaby and Kangaroo in this deck. So yeah, I'm not gonna spend the time to try to find it, but that was so funny how, and it's like the dream that I had with the kangaroo that was like a reddish orange, like the sacral chakra. That was the shadow totem. I made a video about it too, a couple videos back, so if you want to check that out. It was about flea medicine and kangaroo medicine, particularly red kangaroo. So feel a little nasally and like hoarse throat for whatever reason. I don't know why, but I woke up like that, puffy and sore throat, raspy throat. So wait, was it this deck or was it the other deck? Oh, you know what? It might have been the other deck. Oh yeah, because the one that flipped out for this one, yeah, let me go grab it really quick. Okay, yeah, because I was going to say, when I saw the golden orb spider, yeah, this is the one that flipped out for that deck. That's a very interesting, the golden orb spider, that how strong that silk is, and it's made from water. On that we got, because I pulled a few for that reading, we got the earth card, oops, white rhinoceros, that's okay with being alone. This also, the spider medicine, anything that builds a home like that, well, most animals do, but like they're really you know, kangaroo medicine can kind of be related to that because it's very family oriented. And so like snail medicine, they don't build their home, but they carry it with them everywhere. And I just did a bunch of raking of old leaves, and there were some snails under there. I think I kind of damaged one by accident. I didn't know they were under there. So there was some snail medicine, hummingbird medicine, because I just happened to go to my little window in my bathroom because it faces out the back of the house, which is south, I guess, yeah. And just to get different views, whatever. And I like the cool air in the summer on my face, and you can smell the trees because they're all warm, and it's like, yeah, so it just smells really nice. And so I did that yesterday morning, and a hummingbird flew, and it had to fly under like this staircase platform thing to like be right there, and it flew right in front of me, like looked right at me, made direct eye contact, and then flew up onto a branch and then kept staring at me more. And I believe a locust or a grasshopper. It keeps reminding me and jumping around and saying hi when I go down into the yard. So I gotta remember to look that up. I think it's either a black grasshopper or a locust, because the way it flies and stuff. I think it's a grasshopper, just the way it looks, but it's black, like charcoal looking. So yeah, the ones we got for that reading, let me just show you the rest. Was salmon, orangutan, and gecko. So if you guys want to look those up, but so for whatever reason I accidentally grabbed the wrong deck, and they wanted me to share those. So, but you guys, if you are interested in looking those up for yourself, you can, but I just want to focus on the red kangaroo, which was from this deck. So that's the back of the other one. Beautiful lion. So I like showing the backs of the cards too. That's the back of that one. So where did I put the so I pulled the top and bottom card too, and then the card that was behind the bottom card was another spider, and that one's 33. So here's red kangaroo, responsibility. So, and I'm just gonna go through, you know, this person's, this author's description of the red kangaroo responsibility, and that's earth, the element of earth. Card 39, that reduces to a 3. All 9s are self-canceling. I opened right up to Raven, which is 25 magic. 5 times 5. So, do you believe in magic? Let's see here. Almost here. Okay. So I'm going through these and highlighting and getting to know the different cards. I really want to get familiar with these decks, and then also as they come up, kind of check it out online too and see if there's anything else that resonates with me. And you can just kind of sit. What I usually like to do, if you have a dream or an animal comes to you, just think of the animal itself and its natural environment, what it does, its natural behaviors, and you can get a sense of the medicine that it's bringing, the message and the medicine that it's bringing for you. So, I think this was the bottom or the top, I can't remember, but that's couscous with calmness. But it's fire. So it's like kind of, I think it was at the full moon reading. It's like bringing that fire, but cool, calm, and collected. You know, like that, ooh, the kind of fire that you're kind of scared of almost because they're so calm, you know? You think they're just going to bust out and go crazy, but you don't. Right? You maintain. And that's 13. That's Divine Mother. And then this is 5, Oyster Catcher, Concealment, and that's one of the, this was either the top or the bottom, can't remember which one was which, and that's air, or, yeah, air. So, concealment and calmness. So let's go into Red Kangaroo, Responsibility, card 39, which is 3, which is my life path number, okay? And I just dreamt of a tiny little reddish orange kangaroo. So, which is what that color of the red kangaroo is. So the red kangaroo, it's unique in its ability to maintain 3 young at once, 1 at foot, 1 in pouch, while a 3rd develops in the womb. As the 1 at foot is weaned, the 1 in the pouch exits, making way for the partly formed sibling, which instinctively climbs into the pouch directly after birth. Yeah, that's the little pinky. It looks like a little, like when hamsters are born, because kangaroos they're marsupials, but they're kind of like, you know, a lot of those animals, when they give birth, it looks like it's not developed. It's not like when a puppy or a kitty is born, you can tell it's a tiny baby, but it has like fur and stuff. I mean, these little things like little baby hamsters, you can't really tell what it is. They're weird looking little bald little things. So yeah, the kangaroos, the tiny little things, they're called pinkies, and they go into the pouch. They crawl into the pouch instinctively, and they go and finish developing in there, kind of like it's the uterus. So let's see. With the womb now devoid of life, the female will mate immediately, thus replacing the fetus. So, let's see. When the environmental conditions are fertile and rain is abundant, the feed is lush and plentiful, the weather is benevolent, red kangaroo live a productive existence. If the conditions deteriorate, however, bringing drought, fire, or flood, the female red kangaroo will relinquish the infant in her pouch and put the fetus in the womb into a state of suspended animation. So she'll take care of the like toddler kangaroo that's kind of bouncing around on its own. So that's called a joey. So she'll be taking care of the joey and will basically self-abort the one that's developing in the pouch, and then the one that is developing in the uterus, because remember it said as soon as the one in the womb makes its way to the pouch, they mate immediately and so they that number 3 is very important. See, it's 39 reduces to 3. It has the joey, the pinky, and then the undeveloped fetus in the uterus. So it has 3 at any given time. Very interesting. So when the conditions, there's drought or there's not enough food, so on and so forth, it has to take care of the one that's developed, the joey, and then it relinquishes the pinky because it's not going to develop properly. It's its motherly instinct to, and then how magical, it has so much control over its body. She can, it's like the Hanged Man card for the developing fetus that's in the uterus, a state of suspended animation. So it just stops growing, but it's getting fed and nourished. It goes on to say that, because I already read this, when I did the reading, but so it gets fed and nourished and all that, but it doesn't grow. It just sustains and maintains where it's at. Isn't that that's pretty amazing? So it makes Red Kangaroo Mama makes the decision to relinquish the pinky because it has to develop and grow. It's at that stage, but it's at such a fragile stage in its development that if there's not enough food and whatever, it's really gonna have issues, so the mother decides, if the environment can sustain all of them, and if not, she makes that decision, what to sacrifice, because given the situation, you just have to bear down, that's what mama does. So, the card's responsibility, so, and that's kind of like, single moms, we gotta be, look how, strong, look at the muscles on that, base, mama. So, very much of the earth mama, strong, powerful, mother, warrior, goddess. Shekinah Gaia Hamalka, goddess, mother, queen. That used to be my, on Facebook anyway. Shekinah Gaia Hamalka. So let's see what else. So it still gets nourished continually, Okay, and then when the conditions get better, then it allows the fetus to come out of suspended animation and continue to develop. What control and being in tune with your environment, and right, how amazing. That just amazed me when I read that. And that card flew out, I was like, okay, don't mess around. And it sounds so cheesily, ridiculously synchronistic. And it is. It really is. It's stupid, cheesy, ridiculous. And this is how it happens. And this is how it works, people. This is just, it is what it is. Excuse me. Yeah, I woke up with a froggy throat. So survival. So if Red Kangaroo has leapt into your cards today, and it did, it leapt right out. I think this was it yesterday or the day before, maybe 2 days ago? Yeah, when I pulled these cards. 3 days ago. It could have been yesterday. Wasn't today. It's early. I just got up. I know it definitely wasn't today, but you know how time goes. We know how that story goes. You may be feeling as though you have sacrificed a large part of yourself for the benefit of your family. Maybe the time has come to reclaim these aspects instead of harboring resentment and jealousy. So it's asking you if you're living in a constant state of stress. I was for years, and that's why it took so long for me to like get to a point where I can push all this out of my body and heal, and I have my own space and everything. Finally, like, that's why it took so long. It all happens as it. Could you imagine you'd be where you are right now when you were like 3 years old? You could imagine how your life could have gone, but it just went how it went, right? So it's kind of amazing when you think about it like that. So we adapt and we adjust and we try to be responsible and prepare. And that's also emotional preparation, not just having enough rice and beans stored and whatever, dry goods or water, whatever, just whatever kind of preparation you do. But, preparing yourself to inherit the kingdom, whatever your preparation is, emotional preparation, because the red kangaroo has to make that sacrifice that could be very emotional enough to where she couldn't go on and take care of any of her young. So, it's just like, you gotta just do the damn thing sometimes, and you can't let your emotions get in the way, because then you won't get her done. And you need to get her done. Sometimes that's what I'm getting from Red Kangaroo. Basically, to sum it up in a nutshell, in layman's terms, is get her done. Bear down. So, you can't let stress take over. You gotta assess the situation. Just like when an EMT comes on the scene, you gotta just see what's going on. Is there a fire? Are there people injured? And quickly assess the situation and get moving. So, it says, if you are a parent, remember that everything you do inherently instills itself in the consciousness of your children as acceptable behavior. So everything you do says this is acceptable. Even if you're doing stuff that's not acceptable, you're doing it, and your child looks to you as the person to guide me in acceptable behavior. So it sees everything you do as that. So whatever you do, your child sees that as acceptable behavior, because it looks to you to model the behavior that is acceptable. And so, that's why it's important to see ourselves clearly. So, let's see. Are you honoring the pledge of responsibility you made to yourself growing up? Or would you say that you were in emotional drought or dorm? I don't like the way that sentence is formed, so I'm not going to read it. So maybe time to reanimate some element of yourself. I used to use that word, and it was funny because that movie kept coming to me because I saw it as a child. It was just a weird movie called Reanimator. It's like a horror film, but it would be like so cheesy probably to see it now, but it kind of weirded me out as a child. But when I was going through my awakening, that word reanimator kept coming. It's like the reanimator in that movie. I'm like, yeah, I feel like it's like that death and rebirth, like I'm coming back to life from the dead. Like, it was just a very, and I kept getting that word in that movie, and I was like, I guess that's exactly how, because I couldn't, whenever you can't describe something, how you're feeling or what's going on, and you're just like, I feel this something, just, what is it? What is it? And the universe will answer. Your angels, God, whoever you, now I can do it consciously, whereas before I didn't know, I lost touch with all that, and as a child, you don't have a name for it. So this is kind of what I've been talking about, like getting back to being, and kind of being a parent, you kind of have to do that. Get back to being a child and enjoying the things that children enjoy and what you enjoyed as a child, because you have to do a lot of things with your kid. Not a lot of things, but I'm just saying, your life involves doing stuff with your kids. Okay, so cleaning up after them a lot, and so there's this getting back to being a child again, and being the healed child. So we've healed the inner child, so now we're like, that hummingbird medicine is like that's the magic and the whimsy, but it's very strong, like strong-hearted, like the lion. It's got a very strong heart, the hummingbird. It beats very fast, a very high heart rate, and so it's got to be very strong in order to do that. And it because it hovers, so it flaps its wings a lot, so it's got to have a strong heart to maintain that pulse rate. And so it has a very strong, courageous heart, and it is also very magical, whimsical, that childlike joy, the rainbow, all that beauty, nature. Okay, so it's like, it's a very childlike energy, but not like a traumatized child, a healed inner child. Okay, so we're back to like our childhood. What did we love to do? Did we love to play school? Well, maybe we need to be a teacher now, and get out of being whatever we're doing. It's not satisfying us, so we need to get back to, maybe when we were a kid we wanted to be a singer, so we want to just get some songs recorded on it. Anyone can record some stuff. You don't have to be a contracted artist with some record company, have a record deal or what. No, just anyone can lay down some whatever, record it on your computer, anything. Just getting back to the things that, because as a child we're so connected, okay, to nature, to God, so we don't have that fear, until we start watching, our parents let us watch bad, scary movies, or, we're going to school with other kids that are just, so we start getting fed all this stuff. But our purity when we're a small child, especially before we start school, and we're just spending a lot of time with nature and God, we're very connected, and we dream big. Because we don't have any fear. We have a very courageous heart. Because we're so connected, we don't experience that fear. That comes later. So it's like, it's kind of like that second blossoming. Like we kind of went through all the sludge and grudge and drudge and blah of it, and now it's like we're coming back to the child again, but we're healed this time. So now we're like enjoying the child like aspects of ourselves, and we're reconnecting. So it's about the connections, the connecting. So we're reconnecting to ourselves as a child, but not the pain and trauma that we suffered as a child. Maybe we'd love to do creative writing. Okay, so I'm doing that. I'm getting rid of my sewing machine and all my material. I'm donating it to probably the Catholic high school or junior high, so they can, because there's a lot of kids that go to private school that just because you go to private school doesn't mean you have a lot of money. Like my dad and his siblings, their dad was a doctor, so they were spoiled brats. But a lot of people make a lot of sacrifices for their kids to go to a school that at least, it's Catholic, it's Christian, it's whatever, but at least they're talking about God. At least there's that. I mean, nothing's going to be perfect. Everything has its problems, but at least they get to talk about God. So, I see the value in that. And so a lot of parents, it's not cheap. So I was thinking either some little old ladies group that does quilts and donates them, because I've gotten those donated quilts and they're beautiful little pieces of art. And so I was thinking of, there's a sewing group that I'll donate it to them or to one of the Catholic, because I know there's Mary's high school and stuff. So we have to let go. I have all these brand new patterns, a brand new sewing machine. I haven't even used it because I've had to move so much and go through all, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna let it go. When one of these days, when my child is older, I'll just buy another one then or whatever. I'm clearing out all that so I can have my desk for my drawing and writing and, doing my computer work, research, and, videos on my channel sometimes and stuff. So, letting go of a lot of stuff is really good. It's healthy. If you're not going to use it, just imagine if you could see through your mind's eye the person getting so much joy and use out of something that is it's just been sitting there the whole time I've been here, and that's 2 years. It could be being used, so a lot of materials, patterns, cool purse patterns, all this stuff. So I'm going to feel really good giving that to a group, an organization that I know is going to get a lot of use out of it and really appreciate that. So, and take care of it and use it, because I respect the sewing machine. I want it to do what it was born to do. So I don't want to keep it from its destiny. You know what I mean? I don't want to get in the way of that. I don't want to be that person. So yeah, we have aspirations to do a lot of things, and for me it was sewing or all this stuff, and I'm really good at it, and I did something. My mom could make wedding dresses, and we can, but I like small projects that I can just put in a drawer and put away or finish really quickly, because I have a special needs child and I'm taking care of myself, and blah, 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 blah. So I don't want sewing things just laying around for days. Big sewing projects can be pretty involved. So for those of you who sew, so maybe I'll get back into it. But for now, like I said, then I can just, sewing machines are cheap. They're about $100 or something, around there. Yeah. So get back to what you love. I'm encouraging everyone to get back to what you love. Remember when you were a child, what before you had all that fear from other people's experiences and being influenced by the interference energies that try to block you from your joy, which is really just yourself, okay, right? It begins and ends with you. So we project it onto another because it's already inside of us. It's reflection, projection. So get back to what you love. If you love to write, just start writing. If you love to do art, just do art. Don't judge yourself and like someone said you weren't good at art or whatever, but you always wanted to be a famous painter and travel the world. And get back to those dreams, because this is the time. You know, I'm feeling it, and a lot of other people are feeling it, and I'm just seeing it all around me. And, you know, Kangaroo, very responsible, very adaptable, very holy, you know, makes the sacrifice that it has to make for the greater good, as it applies to its individual little family and the whole, you know. It also would be harder on nature, and other animals would starve out if she didn't make that one sacrifice, and another red kangaroo made that one sacrifice, and another made that one sacrifice. If she just let all her family survive, then another red kangaroo maybe would lose all her children, because there wouldn't be enough food or water during this time to sustain the population. So, you know, the greater good is what's best for the self. I always say that when you do what's best for you, you do what's best for your family. You do what's best for the, you know, the collective, the greater good. And then all the way to Earth, to Gaia. So, you know, then we don't take too much from her, because, you know, she needs to replenish herself. She nourishes us. Earth, Gaia is our mother, and we need to respect and not take so much. And we overconsume, and we don't want to make the sacrifices that we need to make. You know, so I don't know how long I went on for, but red kangaroo medicine obviously was very important, and God wanted me to share more on that, and that number 3, and the fact that it was red kangaroo. When I opened the booklet to go to read for it, to find that card, I opened right up to wallaby. So, and I didn't read that one, but I imagine there's, you know, obviously similarities. So, all right, you guys, I just wanted to really get into the red kangaroo medicine, mainly for this video, but yeah, just some other messages that were coming through, and yeah, I look forward to sharing some more in the future, in future videos, and I love you guys. Peace to all of you. Blessings.